in citizen sensing after this session, but I promised now to talk to share some experiences of our work that we did with a big commercial company, which is IBM. And IBM is moving into water, where they apparently see lots of commercial opportunities for them. One of the thoughts that came up a lot while we were working with IBM, working on the contracts and on the IP rights, and there's not just a few discussions, I can tell you. I really started wondering, how what we want to do is sharing of knowledge, right, as researchers, but then how can that be matched with the protection of IP that is so important for companies? So, our dream is sharing everything with everyone, but when you work with a company, their interest, of course, is in unique ownership, because that's what gives them the advantage with respect to their competitors. So that's a central question that I would try to share some thoughts about is, can business interest and open access actually really meet? And before I go into that a little bit further, I have some questions for you. The first is, who of you have ever published in open access journals? And who of you have exclusively published in open access journals? No one? Only published in open access journals, nothing in non-open access. Yeah. That's hard, isn't it? And then about the funding. Who of you's research is being funded by government? Oh, it's a lot. Companies? Oh, wow, very few. Well, just to talk a little bit more about the funding issue. When we think about sharing knowledge openly, meaning that knowledge is free for everyone, then who really has an interest in investing in that knowledge, right? Because for businesses, what would be the incentive of investing in research? First of all, they want to be the first to access the knowledge in order to have that advantage over the competitors. Now, if that is going to be shared with everyone, then what is their interest in sharing the knowledge? For governments, then, what is their incentive? In the end, they could support research in order to promote the economy for the larger societal benefits, for instance. And that is the question is there really a causal relationship between open access and the larger benefits for society? Can we really see that? Or is this just a presumption that we haven't really very well investigated? Because one of the things, when it comes to the application of research in the economy, in the end, our economy is largely based on competition, isn't it? I mean, you have something that another wants to have, and therefore you can sell it. If there's no differences, there is no trade, there is no economy. So if we're going to equally distribute knowledge openly with everyone, there is no more differences, then can there still be trade? Is our economy going to work in a context like that? And even, apart from the economy, our society, our community is based on competition too, isn't it? I mean, our incentive is to be better than the others because then we get the grants. And then, if that would be gone, if we would be openly sharing everything, so no one has an advantage over another anymore, then where do we get our incentives from as researchers? Pure curiosity, maybe? Or, well, there's been this other system that, was an experiment, well, even more than an experiment, with the absence of that market economy and competition. And that hasn't been very successful, right? So the question is whether we really want to, whether we can go there at all. Now, if questions become really complicated, what we can do as philosophical doctors or soon to be, is to see what the true philosophers have said about topics like this. So some arguments from Kant, for instance, is what he called the categorical imperative. What is universally good is when you could apply it to everyone. Now this again comes back to, well, is openly sharing knowledge good for everyone? Is that going to create opportunities, or is that going to destroy our economic system that is based on competition? Another thought, utilitarians, who define utility as something that is good for the greater happiness of all. Now, is that going to happen if we equally share all our knowledge with everyone? The good and the wicked, the lazy and the active. How is that going to play out, really? So that is a question I'm not able to answer, and keeps turning around in my mind. Is in our given society and system, can we really, can we really work in total openness? Or is it going to destroy this system of competition that we have? And then maybe by doing this, we're in for another economic revolution. And that would maybe not be such a bad idea, because who has a lot of confidence in where our economic system is going at the moment? Thank you.